All right, so here we go. The Book of Boba Fett finale. Guys, thank you so much. It's been a ride, but let's break down this finale. So, the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 7, In the Name of Honor, which is a very fitting title, is directed by Robert Rodriguez once again, and he just did a really great job on this episode. Let me start by saying that I had a really fun time with it. The action could have been shot a little bit better. It definitely wasn't shot to the standard that I expect Robert Rodriguez to shoot action sequences, so a little bit disappointing there. But I did like what was all going on in the story and how intense it became, and there were some cool action moments. That's not to say there wasn't. I just wish that more of the action was shot a little bit better. But other than that, love this episode. Had a great time with it. Thought it was a really good way to wrap up the series. Let's talk about why. So as we've been teasing throughout the series, we are getting the war with the Pikes, and it really is a great freaking battle. And that was one of the things I loved about this episode in the first place, is the fact that we got a battle sequence back into Star Wars, and we haven't really had one of those for a long time. Not like an iconic one anyway, so this was really cool. It was a nice little, battle to have, and so I really enjoyed that quite a bit. So in the beginning of this episode, you got Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, and the Mandalorian Din Djarin coming up with a plan to try to take out the Pikes and how they're going to go about this. Meanwhile, as we know, Cad Bane is lurking around, and I like that Fennec was talking to Boba about security and how nobody can get through. And they also think, on the same hand, that the people of Freeland are going to come and help them, but we know from the last episode that Cobb Vanth the Marshal had gotten shot down, so that's probably not going to happen. But then they get a visitor, and it's Cad Bane, of course, the big bad so far in this series, and it's really great to see him and Boba interact again. This stuff was really intense, and I enjoyed the callbacks to Clone Wars and all that, about how they've worked together in the past. I thought that played really well. Just really great stuff, and they did a great job with Cad Bane this time around. In the inner room, Peli Mata is on Tatooine, and she ends up getting in a X-Wing. Like, an X-Wing just comes down, and it's Luke Skywalker's X-Wing. We know this because R2-D2 is sitting in the back, and then she opens it up, and Grogu's in there. I thought this was really great. Grogu did choose the Beskar armor that Din Djarin made for him, and so that was an interesting reveal. But hey, I really dug it, and Peli Mata ends up taking Grogu, and we know she's going to eventually take him back to Din Djarin the Mandalorian. So this is, really exciting stuff, because we are just kind of waiting for this reunion the entire time throughout this episode. So really great storytelling here. So Cad Bane and Boba Fett enter into negotiations, like I said, and it's getting really intense again. And I do enjoy that Cad Bane, is a man of honor as well, in a way. And so, like, when Boba Fett says, negotiations have been terminated, tell your boss, he kind of takes that as the answer. We also find out in the inner room that the mayor is a lot more involved with the Pikes than, led on. And yeah, I mean, obviously though, it was kind of predictable. I mean, let's be honest, I think we all knew that he was going to be pretty involved with the Pikes, and he's the one that hired Cad Bane and all that. So, but it's interesting. I do like the setup of, the fact that this, mayor, kind of relies on the spice, to kind of keep the economy going, I suppose. And I thought that was a really cool element to add to the episode in terms of storytelling once again. And I love that. I love that a lot. So after negotiating again, or trying to negotiate again with Boba Fett, this doesn't go down well either. And Boba Fett actually, well, what he ends up doing is he sends out the guy, I can't remember, but he was like the messenger basically. And I can't remember his name, the one that's like, apologies, that guy. You guys know who I'm talking about. And he goes out there, and he goes out with his tablet, because he tells Boba Fett he's kind of mastered in, negotiations, right? He put it a different way, but I can't remember. But he mastered negotiations, and basically Boba Fett says, okay, here, look, I'm gonna write down a number on your tablet. I'll write something down on your tablet, and go ahead, go ahead out there and see if you can negotiate for this price, dude. Make this go away, essentially, because Mando and Boba Fett are both in there like, man, this is gonna go really badly, So that's, they pretty much, it seems like they have no other choice. It seems like it's coming down to the wire in that sense. But the messenger goes out there and he starts reading this tablet, and oh boy, when I realized that this was all a diversion just to get the Pikes out of there, and so Boba and Mando can sneak up from behind. Oh, it was so good. This scene was so awesome. I had such a good time with it. Damn. I mean, it was fun. It was fun to watch. But then it seems like all hope is lost, right? When Boba and Mando, start to get taken down. I also like in the inner room, too, though, that we kind of see Boba's people getting turned on by the entire damn town, and that was really crazy as well. But like I said, the mayor was in on it this entire time, so it kind of made sense. So things just got really intense really quick, and I liked the way it played the intensity. I really did. I thought this was such a fun time. I really thought so. Just wanting to see what happened from scene to scene was just, it was tension building, and it was fun. I just wish Boba Fett's team was more memorable. I mean, the main girl has some charisma, but I couldn't even tell you her name, off the top of my head, so I just wish there was more building for them throughout. We had the one episode in episode 3, but other than that, I mean, we really haven't spent a lot of time with this team. That's one thing I wish the show just did in its entirety, but I really did enjoy them here mostly. I didn't mind the Mos Espa Vespas. I know they're kind of cheesy, but I thought they played it very cool this time around, and at least it led to something, that's the one thing I would say, it led to something. Basically, though, we get this, entire battle sequence, and it's just great, I mean, Mando, Boba running around and just fighting off the Pikes. It's a big battle, man. It's really very good. I mean, it's mainly great because of what the meaning of the battle is, and that the show nicely led up to this. Like I said, some of the action sequences could have been shot better, but there were some that were just astounding as well. But it's really fun. It's really fun Star Wars. We also get greeted with these droidicas and slash spires. I'm sure there's a technical name for them somewhere out there, but like these things were very cool. They were like droidicas 2.0 almost, and they have their shields and stuff, and I really kind of called back to the video games and stuff where they really had to like overheat the shields, and you could see the blue turn to red, and then like once they overheated, like you were actually able to walk through the shields and get to these things. Like I thought that was cool because it was like attention to detail, so I thought that played very well in this finale. Of course, Peli comes riding through town like nothing's going on though, and Mando ends up hopping on her thing. She's like, turn around, and then she goes, and he's like, can this thing go any faster? And you find out this like carriage that she's on does go a little bit quicker, but then she's like, hey, look who's here, and it's Grogu. And I love the moment. You could just, again, Pedro Pascal, you could see the expression through the mask, like just the way that Mando was a little taken aback by it. It was just so good, and just the way he delivered the line. He was like, what? So good, and just so shocked. And then he's like, what are you doing here? But he's trying to be like sweet, but he's also in like a high stakes environment right now. So he, of course, Grogu just jumps in his arms, and I just thought this moment was so awesome. It was so sweet, and just having this reunion and the smile on Grogu's face when he sees Mando again was just, it's priceless. Really, you can't put a price on that. It's so good, and a lot of what makes the heart of Star Wars right now is Grogu. He's becoming the biggest thing in Star Wars, and man, this shows you why when you watch something like this. It's there's so much heart there. But Mando says you got to keep your head down, and then he turns around, and because there's some more Pikes coming after him, and so he starts shooting, and then their carriage gets blasted, this little weak thing, of course, and they all go flying. I thought the moment was sick though, when Mando like last minute caught Grogu and then just slid with, oh my gosh, Mandalorian, greatest babysitter in the world. Used to belong to Steve from Stranger Things, now it's the Mandalorian. I'm sorry, he took the crown here. Man, again though, another moment where it just feels like all hope is lost, and properly set up, right? Properly set up. The Rancor comes through, and who's riding it but Boba Fett? Because that was set up so nicely in episode 3. It's like these moments, these little moments that you don't think are going to be that necessary, they become so necessary. And that was really cool payoff, honestly. And he came riding through with the Rancor like a badass and just took out a bunch of guys. It was so fun. This is some of the better stuff, honestly. That was so fun. So nicely shot with the Rancor. I did enjoy most of the Rancor stuff. Yeah, I mean, the plan starts working. I mean, you know, for the most part, things are going better for them in this battle. The Rancor does go loose. I thought this was interesting. We did get like this King Kong reference when he climbed up the building. That was straight out of King Kong when the Rancor was up there. So I liked it. I thought it was cool. It was cool inspiration. I saw where they grabbed that from, obviously, but it worked really well. And then, of course, one of the best moments is obviously, you know, Boba's overheating the shield, and Mando ends up, you know, getting his way in there and actually shooting down, I'm just going to call it Droideka 2.0. He starts shooting the Droideka 2.0, and I thought that like, you know, stuff was really good. But then again, we get another moment. The stakes are really high in this episode, which I loved. It just continues down that path the whole time almost, you know. But he goes down, and then Grogu uses the Force to help him, basically. And it works for about a moment. Basically, you know, he gets tackled back, but finally they do get the Droideka. But then the Rancor was the other thing, and this moment was awesome when the Rancor's on the loose, right? And, you know, he comes back down, and Grogu goes face to face with him, and it's like he has a connection with this creature. So he is implementing some of the training he did have with Luke Skywalker. So I enjoyed that so much. Like, I thought that was awesome. This moment was great. It just goes to show Grogu gradually getting more and more powerful. I like the way that they're building this with him and the Force, so great stuff there. But it all comes down to Boba Fett and Cad Bane, and this was awesome. They do have kind of a Western style shootout, and it's really interesting. But, you know, Boba gets hit, he goes backward, Cad Bane pretty much has him down. He's getting ready to kill him, but then Boba Fett, again, getting called back from subtle things from, you know, the beginning of the show. The Tusken Raiders back in the day, remember, they showed it, taught him how to fight with a gaffy stick. So Boba pulls out the gaffy stick. It's his last hope. He takes down Cad Bane. Cad Bane goes down, and he kills Cad Bane. He stabs him with the other end of the gaffy stick, which I was like, wow, that's bold. But I kind of like it because it adds some exclusivity to the Book of Boba Fett. It's like you can only get certain things in the Book of Boba Fett, Cad Bane being one of them. And so I enjoyed that. That was very cool. Man, did I enjoy it. This episode was a blast. It was just a blast. And while certain things might not have been shot as well as they could have been, and, you know, maybe not everything was edited on point, I could appreciate it because, again, it's Star Wars and they're just playing. You know, they're just playing. The creators here are just playing. I think Favreau and Robert Rodriguez did a really great job on this series overall. It was really, really fun. We get a conversation between Boba and Fennec. It's a little bit friendly, and they start to talk to the team, and we can see the team coming together. I'm assuming this is them teasing a season 2 mainly, or maybe it's not. And either way, it's fine. We don't need a season 2 at this point. I think the story they were setting out to tell of Boba is set. It's complete. So it felt wrapped up by the end of it, and now we can move back into The Mandalorian Season 3, which I'm sure Boba Fett and Fennec will show up again. It's probably going to happen. They're probably going to have to come through his territory at some point. So we get that nice little conversation, but then Mandalorian is flying through space with Grogu, and I knew it because I saw the thing in the back when they were building his N1 starfighter that he was going to have a spot for Grogu. You saw the little glass piece where the droid would usually go, and sure enough, Grogu is sitting in there, and it's adorable, and he's got the ball. That's right, I forgot to mention that. He gave Grogu the ball, too, from the ship, the knob that he used to always play with, which is what I thought the gift was going to be, but it turned out to be Beskar armor. But Grogu has the ball in his hand, and he starts to knock on the window, and Mandalorian's like, no, and he knocks on it again, and Mando's like, no, and I love the he knocks on it again. He's like, all right, fine, one more time. And we all know what he wants. He just wants Mando to fly the ship fast, and the kids in the back having a great time. Adorable moment, but that's how it concludes. There is one post-credit scene. We do get Cod Vanth in the back to tank, assuming he's still alive now. So, good. I like the character. I thought it was a little bit bold to kill him off early when we haven't spent that much time with him in any of these shows or any Star Wars project in general. That much, honestly. Even in the Aftermath novels, he's in just a few chapters between the 3 novels. So, yeah, so, you know, great to have Cobb Vanth still alive, still around. I would really like to spend more time with that character. I don't know if they're teasing an actual Cobb Vanth series. That would be interesting. It's possible. There has been rumors that the Rangers in the New Republic series is back on, and maybe he's going to star in that. That's possible. So, we'll see. But very interested. Otherwise, I think this is going to be really, really cool. So definitely excited to see. I can't say to see what's next. I mean, other than just in Star Wars overall. I mean, we can only say goodbye for now, and that I will see you guys on Obi-Wan. Thank you guys so much for joining again. I've been Don Martino. This has been Imperial Order. If you haven't done so already, please check out the Imperial Order podcast with myself and Jose Espinel. We've been doing a lot of Boba Fett talk over there as well. Now we're starting to get into some comics, which is probably going to be the next shorts. The next series of shorts you're going to get are some of the comic books. Been starting to get back into those, so definitely excited to maybe bring some of those to you guys. So that should be fun. All right, guys, I've been Don Martino, and we'll do this again on Obi-Wan Kenobi. So thank you so much, and like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comments section, share this with your friends, hit the bell for notifications. I'll talk to you guys later. I've been Don Martino. Bye-bye.